Hey, boom, welcome back to Project Frankenstein. I'm pretty excited about this video because we're interviewing Quint1836. He's one of my buddies. He's a Texan, and he's got a similar truck to Frankenstein, and so him and I chat periodically and help each other out. But check this out. This is pretty cool. Also, go like and subscribe on his channel as well. So, boom, check this out. So how's your truck doing?
Good. Let's see. 3 months ago, or when did quarantine start? 4 months ago, I guess. I went out to start it one day, and it had a real healthy crank to it. It built great oil pressure while cranking, but it would not actually kick over.
Yeah.
And so I started diagnosing fuel air spark, and I tracked it down to the distributor, and I had no spark there. So I figured it was a bad camshaft sensor, and I couldn't go get any parts because everything was shut down. But I eventually got it over to the shop where I work, and we put a new distributor in it. And while I was doing that, I bumped the fan, and it moved. So I went, oh, okay, so the water pump shot. So we got to do water pump. And then 3 months later, we've replaced everything under the hood that can be replaced: carburetor, alternator, water pump, fuel pump. So
yeah.
It'll be ready to rock, that's for sure. And the motor was rebuilt in 2003, so it still should be good.
Okay. Oh, nice. You're kind of in the same boat. You're waiting for your truck too, then.
Oh, absolutely. We went to start it for the first time last week, and we had no spark. We think my camshaft sensor needs to be activated by a computer, and you have a 74. There's no computer on board, so we're trying to figure that out.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's definitely been a learning experience. It seems like you know a lot about working on these trucks. I mean, to me, I'm learning all this stuff as I go along, but I kind of wish I would have started on some of this stuff earlier. Like when I was in high school, I had a similar truck, but I only did basic stuff like changing water pumps or, radiators, things like that, So it's kind of a learning experience for me, but pretty impressed with how much you know. I mean, how long have you been working on your truck?
Well, I inherited that truck from my grandfather. He passed away 2 years ago, and when I got it, there was a gasket there, but there was pretty much no exhaust gasket, so it had the worst exhaust leak I've ever heard. The front shocks were gone. The U-joints were snapped. It would overheat after 5 minutes of running. It was in awful shape. And I didn't want to drop $6,000 into it, so I just 2 years ago decided I'm going to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
So only 2 years I've learned how to do this, but before then, like you said, I could barely change the oil in a car.
It's insane how much a mechanic would charge you to do some of this stuff. It's like I've done a lot on this truck, and it's like, especially if you use like Rock Auto or some of these, the parts aren't really that expensive.
No, they're not. I looked up U-joint replacement 74 Ford, and nothing really came up for that. But a U-joint replacement is upwards of $2,000, where the part is $6. So that's where I went, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Your grandpa would be proud too. Did he name it Rambo, or did you name it Rambo?
He did. He named it Rambo. What happened was he was in the woods back on his property one day, and there was a big tree sapling that had grown up, and he didn't have a chainsaw, but since it has that big bumper, he decided it'd be a good idea to just run over it. And so that's where the name Rambo came in. He never really knew the movie Rambo so much, so it didn't come from there. It actually just came from he decided to name it that.
Well, that's cool. I mean, it's pretty fitting. It looks like a Rambo truck.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're into the Jaws movies too, right?
I am. That's where Quint came from. Okay. And then 1836 is the year of Texas gained its independence. So.
Nice.
So yeah, that's where Quint 1836 comes from.
Nice.
But yeah, and as far as Quint goes, I just like the character from Jaws.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. Are you into diving then too? Like, do you do any scuba diving or?
Uh, well, I did snorkeling in the uh, let's see, where was this? Cozumel, and
Yeah.
uh, and it was okay. Uh, and I love to swim, but I'm not a just huge fan of going into the water just for
Yeah.
recreation. But don't get me wrong, if there's a swimming hole at the creek, I'm the first one in there.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. I love those movies. Jaws, Rambo, any of those old action movies. I love it. And we used
Well,
to go
because
to
well,
Universal Studios had that too. Sorry, I
oh
didn't mean to.
yeah, no, I was just going to say that there's no CGI, so all of that they really did. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah. I think in a lot of ways it's better that way.
absolutely, because it's true. The actors aren't just acting surprised at something they're going to put in later. It's really what was happening then.
Yeah. And a lot of these CGI movies too, you'll go back and watch them a few years later, and you'll be like, man, that looks so fake. Like,
And it's so dated too.
yeah,
A 2005 CGI movie looks like a 2005 CGI, where Jaws is timeless.
yeah. My daughter just put on Garfield. I've never seen the movie, but she put on the movie Garfield, and I could not believe how fake and CGI it looked. I was like, I couldn't even take it. I made her turn it off. I was like, no, no, put something else on.
Like the cat Garfield.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, the one.
I didn't
Well,
know
I
there
was
was a
kind of
movie.
curious. Yeah, I was kind of curious because I think it's Bill Murray. Bill Murray's funny, so like, oh, maybe it's at least funny. But yeah, I know it's pretty bad. um, so how many vehicles do you have? Because I feel like you've got a ton of them.
Well, the most of the like you'll see videos of me starting that blue Mercedes, driving that 78 Camaro, that orange and black one. That
Yeah.
is, a lot of those come from the shop where I work. If we have a cool car
Oh,
that
okay.
comes in, like that Mercedes, I'll get one fired up. But we have the that Yukon, the Infinity, and then my Ford.
Oh, okay. Nice, nice.
Yeah, and then that Honda trike that I just got running. Well, I don't know what happened to the first 17 seconds of that video, but uh,
Yeah.
the that trike belonged to my uncle, and his daughter committed suicide at 18. So that trike had
Oh,
been sitting in their garage for 30 years. That's why it was such a big deal we got it running. But all of the parts
yeah.
were after you got the dust off of it, were brand new and shiny because they only had like 6 hours on it.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. And then do you use these? I noticed you do a lot with the lawnmowers. Is that kind of like your practice?
That's kind of, well, it's something. Well, what happened was I was out mowing. So we have our backyard, and then behind that we have a little yard that backs up to the sidewalk. And
Yeah.
we're really lucky. Our house backs up to a cattle ranch. It's not
Nice.
ours. I wish it was, but it's but anyway. So I was back there mowing, and the grass is really thick, and all of a sudden the mower started to bog, and it started just chuffing a bunch of white smoke, which is not very good. And
Yeah.
it actually developed a rod knock. So I shut it down, brought it home. Somehow or another, it blew the gasket that keeps the oil out of the gas, and it turned in from a 4-stroke to a 2-stroke, and it almost blew up that motor. And so I just, instead of paying $150 to get a new one, which is probably what I should have done, I just rebuilt it and taught myself how to do it. And now that's like, I took that mower that had been sitting in the creek for 4 years, and I thought I could get it running, and I could. So that's
Yeah. No, I think it's cool because, I mean, well, we had, so I grew up in Oregon and I lived in Oregon until I was 18. And then I moved to California. I lived in the LA area for probably like 15 years. And then I moved to Arizona. So I've been in Arizona like 3 years. But when I was growing up in Oregon, we used to have to rebuild those little lawnmower engines for shop class. Like that was a like engine
right.
shop
Yeah.
class. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I kind of thought you were doing. I was like, oh, maybe he's just practicing on those first, or something. But
Well,
yeah, it's,
no place in Texas that I know of teaches shop class, which is sad. But my uncle took shop, and when they had to start the motor, one pull was an A plus, two pulls was an A minus, That was how they did the
Yeah.
grading.
That's funny. I was gonna ask you too. What's the hood emblem on your truck? It looks like a flying pig or something.
Well, what it is, I have no idea. My grandfather took that off of my uncle's car, and I've reached out to all of these antique hood ornament places. No one has any idea what it is until I went on Love's website, that truck stop,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's from 1976 ish, and it was one of the truck stop hood ornaments that you could buy for 80 cents back then. But yeah, it's a gargoyle, and it's just two wood screws bolted down onto the hood.
Oh no, it's cool. I kind of wish they never went away. I feel like a lot of the hood emblems they've done away with, and I always thought those were pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. They really, I think they look fantastic on any old car. I don't think you could put one on a new car and get away with it.
Yeah.
Just because of how they're designed.
Yeah, totally. Um, and then what's your plans for Rambo? What are you gonna do with them now? Once you get them done or running?
Well, when I can get it finished, I meant to bring that box in. I forgot, but I got two new shocks, rear shocks for it the other day, and so I'm just gonna, once I fully get it all the way together, Texas, I couldn't drive it every day without air conditioning. I know that surely wouldn't be the case in Arizona, but
yeah,
just have fun with it. Love to be able to drive it without being at least a little nervous about taking it on the road.
yeah. Are you gonna lift it too, or are you thinking about stock height or more like resto mod?
Well, I've got 14 inches of clearance at the diff right now, and that's stock.
Yeah.
So if I lifted it anymore, I think I would actually just be up in the clouds.
Yeah. I like the stock height on those. Like I thought about lifting mine too, but I'm like, I like the height. It's perfect. It's not low.
I do too. Right, because it didn't have to be aerodynamic. It just has to, be able to go down the road.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't, any 6th gen truck like we have that is lifted, I don't like it as much as the stock height. Thank you. This is my dad.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
So anyway, thank you. These are the shocks that I got. They are Duralast shocks.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
They were $23 a piece, which is not terrible for off-road shocks.
That's not bad. Yeah.
But
I need to get those down on my truck too.
Right. The only thing that scares me is I was looking at the actual bracket for the shock, and there is a rust weld all the way around the bolt. So that's going to be really fun to take off.
Dang. I hate rust, man. It's such a curse.
Well, the good news is our trucks are the world capital for rust on bolts. So
yeah. Yeah,
yep.
that should be fun.
Oh, absolutely.
So, how high is it in Texas right now?
Right now it's not too bad. It's 101 today, but the other day it was 106. But at least we have dry heat in Texas. No humidity.
Yeah, that is good. We're at 115 right now, but it's a dry heat too.
Oh my Lord, I think 115 is a little much for me.
Yeah. Well, actually, normally it's like at 118, 120. So it's not as bad as it normally is, believe it or not.
Wow. So how does the tires on your vehicles have to just be eaten up by that asphalt?
I would have thought so, but honestly, you get the same wear. Like I haven't noticed any difference in wear.
And because here in Texas we have to water our foundation of the house, otherwise it'll separate from the ground. Do y'all have to do that there?
No, it's interesting. I don't know. I haven't heard that. I mean, I haven't lived in Arizona that long. It's interesting. I don't know. I haven't heard that though. That's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. It's things you never think about till you walk out and see a big crack between your house and the earth.
Oh man, that would suck. That'd be so bad. I would
Yeah.
not be happy about that. Yeah, it's the biggest challenge. Well, as you know, it's like right now trying to work on your truck. It's like you either have to go out first thing in the morning or right in the afternoon. Otherwise, it's
Oh,
like
it's brutal.
yeah. And I can't tell you how many times I've lost video just because my phone overheated or something like
See,
that.
I never have that. It's never that hot, but I'll have my neck turn black or dark brown from being out in the sun all day. That's what I love. I'm sure having an old truck, you can crawl under the hood and just sit in the engine bay.
Yeah. At least have it a little cooler. Yeah, for sure.
So your truck has you said a 360?
360, yeah. So it's now at the mechanic guy's place, and so that's what he told me. I'll be honest, I don't know how to tell the difference. I always thought it was a 390, but he told me it was a 360.
I would have thought 351, but that's a race truck right there, single cab.
Yeah. I'll take it. I'll just be happy when the thing's running.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was running before, so I had it running before, and it was cool because so kind of similar to you, we're backed up to a big desert piece of property.
Yeah, I saw the video where your brother or someone took it off road for a second. And you're like, no, we don't need to do that.
Yeah, and but it's cool. You can drive back there, like if you have side by sides, you can drive back there too. But I took the valve covers off on one of the videos, and when I took it off, I noticed two of the rods were like completely bent. So it's like I had to go all out at that point. It's like I couldn't just put it back on,
Right.
So that was like 6 months ago.
Wow.
I'm still waiting to drive it.
Who's rebuilding it?
It's this guy. His name's Sam. He has a company called Southwest Truck and Diesel, and it's his own company, but he's a younger dude, but he's got like 4 or 5 guys that work for him. But my brother has a 65 Thunderbird, and he rebuilt the engine in that car. And just like my biggest challenge is like in Oregon and California, I had car friends, but out here I don't have a ton of people that are in the car stuff, so it's like
right,
knowing who to take the engine to and who to do like the machine work and stuff. And so I knew this guy was a trustworthy dude because he did a really good job with my brothers, and he was really reasonably priced too, which was cool. So that's why I was like, well, you know what? He actually lives 2 hours away, or his shop's 2 hours away because he's in Tucson. But I'm like, it's worth driving it down there. Like if I know I can trust the guy, I'd rather just do that, than have to worry about somebody shady,
Oh, absolutely. Especially if they're doing something that makes your truck, that's the motor.
Yeah.
But the thing about an engine rebuild is they can last the life of the truck. They could last 3,000 miles. So, but if it was driving that long on a bent push rod, I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, it won't be a daily driver for me. I drive 70 miles a day, so I couldn't afford to drive that thing gas-wise every day. But just to be able to drive it on the weekends and have fun with it, or whenever.
Oh, absolutely.
But
I will say the one thing about my truck, because it's a super cab F-250, so it weighs 8,000 pounds. And 74 was the first year that they had stock disc brakes. So the front wheels grab really well. The back wheels, they don't really do anything. But I was coming down a hill one day, and it was pouring rain. And I had my running lights on, wipers on, everything I could do. And there's a stop sign down at the end, and my brakes, you have to pump twice before they really give a sensation of braking. The brakes suck in that truck, but and they're brand new. That's the challenging part. But I think it's just because it's so heavy, and the rotors that are on it are 1975 Chevrolet rotors because the front wheels are GM. That's why it sucks. But I was coming down the hill and I hit the brakes, and all of a sudden it wasn't slowing down, and then I realized it was starting to pivot to the side, and
Yeah.
then I could see out the passenger window that smoke was coming off that front wheel, and so I just got off the brake, pitched the right of the truck in some gravel, and hammered the brakes, and it was able to actually come to a stop pretty quickly. But that'll make you aware of how quickly it can go bad.
It's having your brakes go out is way more scary than your engine not working.
Oh, absolutely. Well, my brakes still worked. Yours actually went out completely.
Yeah. It was funny too because I was circling around the block and the brakes went out, and I called up Griselle, my fiance. I told her, "Hey, open the gate. I'm coming in hot." And I just jumped the curb and just went straight in, and it worked out perfect because it's like enough of an uphill to
Right.
like, and luckily being a manual, you can downshift.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is that a granny transmission?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. First gear, that'll shut you right down.
Yeah. 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 I'm hoping I don't have to replace or rebuild that transmission anytime soon.
No,
But,
not a manual transmission. They'll last forever.
right? Yeah. That's like even in my daily driver, I have a manual because I feel like they just last forever.
They do. Yeah, because they're constantly, they always have a brake. If you put it in gear, it's going to stay in that gear until you downshift or upshift, not constantly changing. That's why automatics, they burn out because they're always engaged.
Right. I kind of wish they wouldn't go away from manuals as much as they are. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, the only, even the 18-wheelers are going automatics. The only vehicles that you can get in a standard are either custom order 18-wheeler or a Porsche sport car. So
yeah,
it's really sad to see. Only 17% of the U.S.'s population can drive a stick.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. That's so crazy.
Where back in 1965, it was 100% because no one had an automatic.
Yeah. No, it's funny though because I've had a few times where like maybe I didn't want to drive, or like if you go out to the bar or whatever, and it's like people don't know how to drive my car. Just because it's a manual. I'm like, come on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's it's people. I'll leave my truck. I always lock my truck if I go somewhere. But if I'm at a friend's house, it's on the street. I don't lock it. They go, why don't you lock that? And I'll go, it's got a stick shift. That's my theft protection.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of people couldn't drive those trucks. I like. Does yours have power steering?
It does. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, mine doesn't.
Yeah. Well, I remember we were going back and forth, and I told you about the day my carburetor went out, and I said I lost all power steering and power brakes. And then I saw a video you didn't have power steering. I went, oh, I look like a real man complaining about that. But my straight six is an 84, which had power steering. So that's why I don't think the 74 Ford, that was an option.
Yeah. I like power steering, but I don't mind it so much that mine doesn't have it because I feel like it just adds the feel of the drive. Like
of really driving it. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And even the steering wheel, I'm like, I don't know if I want to swap it for like a better modern steering wheel because I kind of like how they feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would keep it where it has that big bar in the middle of it. I would keep how it is only because not for just the looks, but from a mechanical point, that steering wheel has such a tight grip on that column where a newer one that is factory probably won't, and she actually might come loose on you or damage your steering box because you're having to do more steering. So I would actually keep that for A, looks, and B, now you can pull that off and completely redo it, or even order one from Ford, although that'll bankrupt you pretty much. I think it's like $2,000 for one, but you can redo it. But I like the look of mine's cracked in some places, which I fixed with electrical tape, but I like that old look.
So on those old steering wheels how they kind of like shrink and you get all these little spaces, like empty spaces.
Right.
I could have swore I remember they have like rings that you can put in there to fill
Yeah,
those gaps.
they do.
But I think,
You can buy kits. They're hard to find. You walk into an AutoZone, they're not going to have
yeah,
it there. But in
yeah.
terms of, you can go to your AutoZone or O'Reilly's, Rock Auto, wherever you want, and they'll order it for you, and they're like
Oh, okay.
$30. They're not bad, and you'll have like 3 of each that are like that thick, So it's worth getting
Okay.
for sure. But mine looks like at one of the handles looks like the Mississippi Delta at how it just spreads out like that. So I don't think I could get a
Oh.
ring in there.
That's funny.
But
Yeah, man, it's cool. The other part I'm really enjoying, I started, so when I bought this truck, I started putting all these videos on YouTube just to kind of track the progress. But it's been so cool because there's such a big community of people that just have these trucks that are working on them, and then you get all this helpful advice from other people, and it's like I
oh,
made a lot of
absolutely.
friends too. Like I made friends with you. I made friends with a couple other people just from watching each other's videos and doing this kind of stuff. It's cool.
Oh, absolutely. Like my channel before I got Rambo had, to be generous, 100 subscribers, and then in the
Yeah.
past 2 years, it's shot up to over 500. I just broke 550 today.
Oh wow, that's
So
awesome.
I've been shocked at how
Yeah.
and all the kids at school don't understand what an old truck is, and they go, oh, all he posts about is his truck, and what do
Yeah.
they care? I don't understand that. But
Yeah.
I'm a fan of old trucks because it's so easy to diagnose something that's wrong. You have fuel, air, and spark, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think it's good that you stick with certain topics because that's kind of like you're building your brand, and eventually you're gonna have enough subscribers and followers and all this stuff where it'll be making money for you. So it's
Right. Well, by the time I'm 65, I think that'll happen. But yeah, I've been trying to, everyone that is like really close with me in my friend group have subscribed to you. I've been trying to sway all of my subscribers over your way, and
yeah, likewise.
yeah, and anytime I can help a fellow truck,
Yeah,
YouTube,
yeah,
I always do, because there are not a lot of us out there that really have that passion for it and really don't, put 60-inch mud tires on it and chop them up, try to
yeah.
keep them like they were.
Well, and it's funny because I feel like most car videos now, it's like you get this huge delta. There's either people that just walk around and film a truck or car or whatever, and they're like, oh, this is this truck or whatever, which is cool. But a lot of people, that's all they do versus like working on stuff or trying to fix stuff. And then you get guys that all they do is these massive projects that if you're not rich, it's like you're not going to be doing it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't, I work very hard, and if I had to get a new transmission rebuilt, I could probably pull that off. But I don't have millions of dollars laying in the bank to do that. So
Right.
I have a realistic video set of, I mean, Quint's Garage may not always be the most helpful thing to go on YouTube, because there's a lot of sarcasm and me just dripping sweat on the camera. But there's, I changed my
Yeah.
thermostat in the last video, which
Yeah.
was completely seized. I don't know how it drove on that. Built Ford tough.
No, your videos are funny, man. Some of your lines crack me up. Some of the expressions and things that you say.
Oh yeah, my favorite one of Quint's Garage. I was dying laughing making that compilation of the best of Quint's Garage. But my
Yeah.
favorite episode has to be the one where I changed where I was changing the fuel filter on that Nissan Altima, because it took me 3.5 hours just to get to the filter, and it took me 15 seconds to put the new one in.
Yeah. That's how it goes. I know I kind of feel the same way a lot of times. Like a lot of my videos, I hope people don't watch them for helpful information, because a lot of times I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, I was impressed. I'm glad you said that. I was really impressed on that cloth spray paint, that fabric paint that you used on that
Oh yeah.
seat, that stuff worked really well. Is it only
Yeah.
for that type of material, or can you do like vinyl leather, or is it?
Yeah, it works. It works for all. So actually, funny story. How I even knew about that stuff was when we were in high school. We had a '77 Trans Am, and the seats were
Oh
good.
man, Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, it was sick. It was my brother's car, but it was the seats were nice, but they were just faded from sitting out in the sun. And so he found that stuff, and it works really good. I mean, you can put it on any kind of like interior spray. It's a little expensive per
Yeah,
can.
I'd
Uh,
imagine.
yeah, that's the only thing. But it works really well. That seat that I got, I don't really have a great use for it. Like right now, it's just kind of like a man cave garage car seat.
Right.
So I mean, I think I popped like $30 just for the can. So I'm like, yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. Long story, but it wasn't necessarily intentional. But um,
I'm sure that's one of we'll file that under tricky one to explain.
so I had it in my shopping cart on my Amazon, and it was my birthday, so somebody got it for me. But so my girl got it for me, but she, I had put it there kind of like just to earmark it, like hey,
Right.
find another one, but whatever. No, so I mean it works great, but it's kind of a little expensive.
Yeah, $30 a can, but I was laughing when I was watching that video of you unboxing the clutch. When you break the cellophane, your dog's like, nope, I'm out of here. But that's a good looking dog you got there. But so if you want to was that original plan for that seat for your truck?
Um, as a temporary solution, because I got it for free, and the person
Good
that gave
price.
Yeah, yeah. The person that had it was giving it to me for free because they got it for free too. So the thought was, well, I'll just put it in there until I reupholster my seat that's in there now. But I mean, it's a good foot short, so it's not even like,
Oh, wow. That really shows how big those trucks are. But
yeah,
if you want, there are hundreds of those seats floating around on eBay. They're like $230 and they're a great
yeah,
condition. Only thing is it's not original, you know.
yeah, yeah,
But I also put a mirror on my passenger side. The old one, the original one, snapped, and they're like, well, it'll be $40 to fix or $17 for a new mirror. I don't care about a side mirror. If somebody's going to dock that out of the appraisal value, I
yeah,
don't care. So
yeah,
it it's already pretty well not original. It's got an 84 300 straight six. So
yeah. I just I want to get it reupholstered because I like to have the original feel of that seat. I think the seat makes such a big difference, but
right. Well, it
honestly,
looks pretty comfortable. You're sitting in it now.
yeah. Yeah, I know, right? I don't plan on selling the truck ever, so I mean if it takes a little while, whatever. I'm just trying to space
Exactly.
it all out.
And because I don't know where did the truck come from originally? I mean, Dearborn, Michigan, obviously, but where did it come from before you bought
Yeah.
it?
So there's actually, if you look at my description on my main YouTube page, there's a link. You can actually watch the full video. But basically, it was funny because we went up to Flagstaff, and I kept hounding my girl to let me buy a project truck for I don't know, probably a year. Just like, come on, let me get some. So finally, I break her down, and on the way back, I found one, but it was like an hour away from my house. Wasn't really in the best spot. It was kind of northern central Phoenix area. Um, nothing towards the people. It was a bit of ways, and it was kind of a gamble on picking it up. And so actually, when I stopped, I looked at it. It was so rough. I'm like, oh man, I don't know. I left. We left. I was like, I'm not gonna buy it. And then I ended up calling the guy back, and I got him to discount the price. So I ended up picking that thing up for $800.
Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I asked was it's been in Arizona for a long time, which is so dry. So
Yeah.
because the body, when in your videos, the body, the cross member for the engine, that's all
Yeah.
pretty rust free. How's the floor pan, the undercarriage? Is that the same?
It's pretty rust free, but there's a couple spots where the floor pans has got some decent sized holes in it. I kind of did it. Everyone's gonna kill me for this one, but basically what I did is I took tape, I taped up the bottom, and then I filled it with Bondo just as a temporary solution.
No, let me tell you, I have Bondo that's been on my truck since '87, and
Yeah,
it still works just fine.
yeah. So I filled those holes up with Bondo, and then hold on, sorry, let me let my dog out. Hold on.
Sure.
And then also in the bed of the truck, you know how like the water sits towards the cab on the bed of the truck? Yeah, so in that spot too, that spot's got some rust holes in there. But I mean, honestly, not too bad considering how old the truck was, you know. But I think what I think happened is I think the front of it is from a tow truck because the front was like blue and white, and then I think they just took a cab from another truck and put it on there.
Well, my truck has the bed, that cedar wood bed.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me why I call it an F-250 because the fenders say F-100, but the cab and the front clip is from a 74 F-100. The chassis is from my mom's childhood truck, which is a 74 F-250 single cab. I don't know how this super cab fit on that frame, but it does somehow. I guess that's some redneck engineering, but so it's registered as a 250. So if I do anything with the suspension, it's a 250. Anything with the cab / motor, it's a 100. So
that's so funny. Yeah, it's funny when you order parts and you gotta think, okay, which part is?
Oh yeah, and the motor's an 84, and I don't even know what the transmission is, so that's gonna be real fun.
Yeah. That's cool though. I like that. That's cool. I like that truck, that super cab truck. That's sick.
Well, 74 was the first year of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like it too. It was not a big hit in its day. People didn't really like it, but it's kind of like, are you familiar with the Ford Edsel?
Yeah.
Back in its day, that was the worst car on the market. Now it's the most collectible car with car collectors. So it goes like DeLorean. Well, the Tucker Torpedo, the DeLorean, and the Ford Edsel are some of the most collectible.
Yeah.
DeLorean's one of those cars you want to put in your garage and never drive it because the 2.8 liter Renault engine is the worst engine ever made. You'll be lucky to get out of your driveway, much less hit 88 miles an hour.
I would love to have a DeLorean, but I'll be honest, I would want to be a little sacrilegious with it. I'd want to put like a V8 something else in there.
Because it's a rear engine and it's got a transmission that, the linkage is here, and whenever you shift, it has a pulley system, and it makes it go backwards to be able to shift backwards. So what I would do is probably put a 327 in it with still in the rear, but actually have a modern day shifting setup where it's either electrical shift or they actually have a stick shift that's electrical now.
Oh, okay.
But
that's interesting.
Because I wouldn't want to kill the car and put it in the front.
Yeah. Totally.
And I don't think I have that much time on my hands, so.
I just want those doors, man. The gull wing doors.
The gull wing, oh, absolutely.
Just drive down the road with the door open and have people jump in or something. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. Well, have a person jump in. It's a 2-seater car. My grandfather, not that gave me the truck on my, this is my grandfather on my dad's side, and his wife were at the. This was not my grandmother. This was a second wife. They were at the unveiling of the DeLorean in America, and the car pulled up, and he turned it off. I think it was actually DeLorean himself. He turned the car off, and somehow or another the alternator belt had snapped and the battery died when he turned it off, and they had to come jump the car so he could open the gull wing door. That's not exactly a great unveiling of the car.
Yeah. That's like when Elon Musk breaks the window.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I laughed at that. I kind of felt bad for him, but
yeah, I did too. But I mean, that's kind of how things go, you know. It's like,
oh, absolutely. My friend who has that UTV I've been working on, his dad ordered a Cybertruck.
oh, okay.
And I don't know why. He can't really afford it, but he did anyway. And it'll be interesting I'm excited to make a video on it, but it'll be interesting to actually see how that thing competes with a modern day truck. It's supposed to be able to tow 20,000 pounds.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I would definitely want to see that video. I'm curious to see what those things are like. I just rode in a Tesla for the first time the other day, and there's certain things I love and certain things I hate about them. I mean,
absolutely.
I feel like there's no really creative design element. You know, it's also basic in there, but they're fast. I mean, they're definitely fast.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with Jay Leno's garage or not, but he has his steam cars. It's direct drive. There's no there is a transmission in a Tesla, but it doesn't shift like a normal transmission, because with electric and steam power, that you have so much torque right from the start, you don't have to build up to it. But my biggest argument for a electric car is you can't drive through rural America and recharge your Tesla.
Right.
You know, so it's going to take 30 years or so to fully get the country. I mean, they built the interstate highway in 10 years, but you know, it's going to take probably 30 years to get the country transformed to electric cars, and I'm not going anywhere with my gasoline truck. So
yeah. Well, I think, you know, I just always think it's funny. I think it'll work out better for guys like us if they do end up pulling it off, because then gas prices will go down.
Yeah, I can pull up with 25 cents and they'll hand me change back for filling up my truck.
Yeah. But it's, you know, I always think it's funny because people always think, oh, these electric vehicles are so environmentally friendly. But it's like,
they're really not.
Just as bad. You have to pull precious metals and do all this other stuff too. So it's like, I think there'll be more of a balance between electric and gas, but I don't see gas going anywhere.
No. And here's the thing. It is 3 times more environmentally damaging to manufacture a Prius than an F-150. And the only way they know how, and this is right now, but the only way they know how to get power to charge those lithium-ion batteries is from a coal plant.
Right.
So,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, here's the thing. You know, I love my truck and I love a good burnout video and a coal rolling diesel. You know, of course we have to protect the earth, but you know, I'm not saying we got to destroy it, but we don't have to say no to everything that we have right now. You know, you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I'm not saying. Yeah, I guess I should say that too. I'm not, you know, saying destroy the environment, but yeah.
But I mean, if driving my truck means I'm destroying the environment, which it probably does, then you know what? That's fine. There are enough trees out there to counter that.
Well, I wonder now with all this stuff that's going on with COVID, the environment's probably clearing up quite a bit since nobody's on the road.
It has to, you know.
Yeah.
It has to be. But I read a study that said that the company BP that pumps the oil in the oceans, they've been working overtime, and they had a spill, not to the degree of the one before, but they had a spill. It was pumping oil for 3 minutes in the ocean, and they didn't report it. So they're about to be hit with all sort of international lawsuit, which is, that company's not, not the best for telling the truth in these situations.
Yeah, you might want to avoid them.
Oh, absolutely. Well, not only did they not report it, they said it didn't happen. They filed it as no leaks on this date and time. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. When people say, "Oh, I put all my trust in this company," I don't know if you should have done that, because no company's trustworthy. But yeah, and also just want to do a shout out to Amberger Automotive in Austin, Texas, where I work, where we do all of that, all
Nice.
those videos. And we have one of the guys that works there, his grandfather left him an old Pontiac, I want to say Chieftain. I don't really know, but it's a teal color, and the inside is showroom.
Yeah.
And it has flat tires. It hasn't run in 20 years. The inside, it has factory air. Nothing is cracked. I mean, it makes me so sad that it sat there for that long. But I'll do a video of walking through our little yard that has all those cars. We have an old hearse with a Buick Straight 8. I actually just learned something. On the Buick Straight 8s, how to engage the starter was you pushed the throttle down, and at a certain point it would click. That way you're not on the starter and pumping it. It would actually, you push the throttle down and it engaged the starter.
Ah, that's really interesting.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't either. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I was shocked when I saw that.
Do a video on that hearse, man. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll call it a junkyard walk or something like that.
Yeah.
We actually have some crap cars back in the back that people just didn't come pick up, and so we declared them abandoned. But
yeah,
we actually have some gems back in there. We have an old Cutlass that's pretty rough, but it's a 1978, I think. We have that Chieftain that's really good. We also have a Ford Fairlane that was a drag car at the Bonneville Salt Flats in 1959. It's a 57 Fairlane, but so we actually have some cars with history there. I'll make a video sometime next week doing that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I love watching stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's a clip of that hearse and that bonfire video that we did, and a bunch of people reached out to me through the like there's a private comment thing. I don't know how to do it, and they said, "We want to buy that hearse. What do you want for it?" And I reached out to the owner, and it was his dad's, and he had just passed away, and so they're not looking to sell it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really cool, and it's actually the first time I'd ever seen a straight 8 was looking at that car.
Yeah, you don't see straight 8s too often.
No.
I bet it's got some killer torque on it.
Yeah, it probably only makes 90 horsepower, about 1,000 foot-pounds. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you giving me a minute. I also sent you a video for your channel if you want it. So let me know if it doesn't go through for some reason. But I appreciate you doing the interview. It's cool, man. It's always nice to connect with other people. You know?
Oh, absolutely. I would say one of many, but it was funny trying to set up this Teams thing. It had me try to prove I wasn't a robot, and I had to type what I saw of these. There were these purple letters that were kind of jumbled together, and I had to figure out what they said. It took me 6 tries to actually figure out what it said. But then I actually tried the audio version, and it said, "Type what you hear." And it was this garbled female robot. I probably shouldn't assume it's gender, but whatever. And it said a bunch of words really fast, and I said, "Whoa, I can't type that fast." So I was getting worried there for a second I wouldn't be able to do it. But yeah, now that it's set up at least. But yeah, and is there a way to put multiple people on one of these?
Yeah. So anybody can click the link, and it'll just keep adding squares. So we could just.
Yeah, what we should do is you put all your friends that, like you put in the description. We all have one day. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be really awesome. That'd be cool. And there's an app that you can use too. Sometimes I do the app. Sometimes it's a little easier. But the only thing is you can't change the backgrounds on the app. So like how I did the
Right.
fake thing.
Well, I thought, I'm going, dang, he has some strong Wi-Fi. I could reach out to his truck, but yeah. And how was because I just got this set up with the
Yeah.
mic and everything. How was the sound versus
Oh no, the audio is perfect. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Sweet.
Yep.
And I keep meaning to ask this. What is I almost said behind you. It's not behind you. It just looks behind you. The brown truck, the beige. Yeah.
This one. So this one that's the cab of the bed of my truck. Does that make sense? So actually, here I can show you in a way that might make more sense. Hold on, bear with me here. So when I got this truck, that was in the bed of this truck, and the guy wanted to take it out, but I was barely on the hook for this deal because I was worried I was getting in over my head kind of thing.
Right.
And then so he finally agreed just to leave it in there. Got a picture here somewhere. Of course, when you go to find it, it takes forever.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so it was in the bed of the truck, and I had to pull it out. So that was fun. Oh, here we go. I don't know if you can see, but yeah. So it was
sweet.
Yeah, and
so you've had it painted?
So I rattle canned it. So when I was in high school, I spray painted a few of my cars, just trying to. I don't know if I recommend it or not, but sometimes you just don't want things
I
to
did
look
it.
Yeah. So I couldn't stand how it was two colors. I just thought it looked so horrible like that. So I'm like, I'm just gonna rattle can it, whatever. So
it's really impressive. I thought that was factory.
Yeah. It took quite a few cans. I think it was probably like 15 cans. But
wow. Well, good thing it wasn't $30 a can, huh? But
yeah,
that's
totally.
actually pretty cool that you have the original cab. If you ever wanted to swap to a numbers matching cab one day, but then it's probably 12 more cans of spray paint.
Yeah, I know, right? Honestly, it would be smarter for me to swap the cab, but I've never done that, so it's just kind of.
It's incredibly simple because everything is just bolted together. There's no welds. You just undo the hood hinges, undo the fenders, take off the front clip, and then just Zeus it up. The only thing is you either need to be incredibly strong or have a crane.
I don't have either.
Okay. Well, then I think you're good right now. But yeah, that's actually good that you have that is a parts truck if there are any parts on it. But
well, what's nice with that one is the floor pans are all perfect in that cab.
Oh, okay. I see.
But
yeah.
But it's funny because my daughter's using it as a kind of a fort play area right now.
That's awesome. I wish I had that when I was little.
I know. I was like, dude, if I had a fort like that when I was growing up, that'd be killer.
Yeah. Well, I tried to get your video to 10,000 likes, but I can only do it once, and I liked it on all 3 of my Google accounts. So I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there.
I'm hoping that eventually I'll just get more traction. Like I've noticed a lot more traction this year, but it can be tough to get the likes and subscribers up. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely. Oh, and I also meant to ask, how do you do your thumbnails? Because they're incredible.
Oh yeah. So I use I'll send you a screenshot so you can see the apps, but I actually use 3 different apps. So the one I use for just the videos, I just use iTunes Movies, but then I use an app called Phonto, Phonto. I use that one just for the text because that one has the best text options. And then I use, to do all the different overlays, I use an app called Pixlr, Pixlr. And
to put like the lightning bolts and everything?
Yeah, so I'll use Pixlr to do all the different cool overlays because it's really good with those features. And then I save it, and then I open it in Phonto, and then I do the different text options. Because with Phonto, you can actually put like the outline line, so you can like really see the text well.
Okay, yeah, because they're fantastic. That's why I was wondering. But
Yeah, thanks, man.
yeah, I'll give that a try, because what I always do is just go to photo editing and type in best of Quint's garage, enter,
Yeah.
drag it down. But yeah, so I'll give that a try my next video.
And they're free apps. And then like the Fonto one I like too, because it's got a huge list of different fonts you can try and stuff too. So it's
Right.
pretty, yeah. But
Yeah,
cool.
I'll give that a try for sure.
I appreciate it. I'll send you a link for the video, and I sent you another video too if you want to use it for your channel. If not, that's cool too. But
yeah, absolutely. And I think this will have to be like a interview part 1, part 2, part 3 to break it up. That way, that way it actually can upload in 1080p and not take 14 hours.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
But,
I think we're at 55 minutes, so it's going to be a big file.
Yeah, I think I'll do the old 6-parter. But yeah, but anyway, well, thank you so much for having me. This has been a whole lot of fun, and let's try to do one with multiple people. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Let's try for next month. We'll set that up.
All right, that sounds awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Later.
Hey, and thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell button. Most importantly, go check out Quint's channel. I know you'll love it a lot. Like and subscribe on him, all that good stuff. All right, boom, baby.